coming to you live from the land of chlamydia-ridden koalas. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to the 227th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I am, as every week, am Flog Power Slave, joined by my little mate Maddie, who knows some stuff about lore. G'day, little Maddie. How you going?
Mate, you're trying to put me down because you know you haven't played much
I've played a bit. I've played a little bit.
You fucking have been a pirate the entire bloody week.
Yes.
And you need me to carry you through today's episode.
I mean,
so you're trying to get...
It's just repayment for like the literal years I carried you through.
Yes, yes, it's true.
I'll put it on the ledger and you still owe me a good solid 10 months.
Oh, mate, probably more than 10 months, to be honest. You carried this podcast for a very long time. It is what it is. I've played the epilogue. I've played the epilogue.
Yeah. I jumped in and did it.
2 videos, mate. 2 bloody videos in like 3 days.
You're going to need to calm down. These are unprecedented. This is unprecedented productivity.
You know, like the really successful streamers, but they don't. Oh, it sounds. So Danny's gone away for the weekend.
Yep.
And I think I'm the kind of person that I would just live on stream if I didn't have Danny in my life, because I did a stream. And then I worked on a YouTube video until midnight.
And then you went to bed and then you woke up and streamed.
I streamed. Yeah. And then I finished the stream and now we're doing a podcast.
Now doing a podcast that you go into editing a video and then go to bed. I mean, there's not a lot of balance in that. You're going to have to actually get outside and touch grass at some point. Or take Bill for a walk or something. At least. But... I'll say this. My life hasn't been too dissimilar to that over the last sort of few weeks. With lockdown and everything here, it's kind of like wake up, sit at the computer all day doing work, and then go out and see the family for a few hours and then come back in here and stream over night time. And I don't know. It's been weird. Been weird times, but not necessarily bad ones. So I can relate. I think I'd be very much in the same ballpark as you, though. If I didn't have the family life aspect to juggle, I'd probably just be chained to this fucking unhygienic, unergonomic red chair.
It's so easy to be like, oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's easy to work when things are going well, and that's why I did so much yesterday, because I got out. It's so easy to make videos when they do well. You know what really sucks is when videos fucking flop, and you're like, fuck me, I just put like 20 hours into that and it did nothing.
Yeah,
that's the tough part.
There's a lot to be said for striking while the iron's hot too. You know, like the old saying, make hay while the sun shines is, I guess is as true now as it was when, I don't know, people used to actually deal with hay. So the veritable hay being YouTube content. Yeah. But what have you done this week? What have you been up to? Because
I've been slutting up podcasts. I was on DCP yesterday talking about this is round 2, the Australian version. I'm going to say all the same shit I said yesterday, but just with an Aussie twang.
I tell you, look, it's making my life heaps easier. Just by the way, if you're confused.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Your dog walked inside and mine walked past. Like we've got a fucking time warp tunnel.
It's split gate. It's a split gate portal.
The dogs are using the split gate.
Somehow my dog just traversed 3,000 kilometers in a second and walked through Matt's house. What the fuck?
That was pretty trippy. That was pretty funny.
That was weird. That'll never happen again.
I have to watch the video, kids.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, mate. Dogception, yeah, look.
Look, I actually just played a little bit more of Splitgate just then, which has been fun. I've also been... I haven't been doing Destiny. I've been trying to complete my exotic collection, actually. And anything else interesting? Just the epilogue, I guess. Well, epilogue was Wednesday.
Well, we'll jump into talking about that in a second because it was a pretty cool little moment, like for anyone that really had it in for Lakshmi or also enjoyed fucking Saint 14 being just badass Saint 14. It was pretty rad.
Chat got me Divinity. I got that.
Divinity.
Yeah.
There you go. You are the true gamer now. I haven't got that. Was it hard? It can't be that hard if you did it.
I mean, it was heavily carried.
Yeah, right. So yeah, look, at this point, you can have the mantle. You're the surprise. The guy who plays Destiny for a living is better at Destiny now.
I don't know if better is the right word, but
anyway. So it's been a weird week actually in that context because I played a bit of Splitgate on the weekend and I've enjoyed it, and I played a little bit of it through the week. It really scratches. Like it? Yeah, I think it scratches that arena shooter itch. Like I don't think it's not going to change my life, but I think it's kind of like if you're serious about getting into Halo and getting off to a red hot start, probably getting into that and
you warm up.
Getting your fucking fast twitch neurons firing is probably gonna help you. So I don't have any of them left. I'm old, so I'm not particularly worried about it, but it's good fun nonetheless. And like it's funny that you and I have ended up, just because I was watching your stream earlier, we've ended up with a very similar play style. Not necessarily you run around like a chook with its head cut off. I kind of like stay in the same thing in a particular area.
Have a portal, portal,
but have a portal set up so that I can like get around behind them.
Yeah.
So I feign a retreat and then come out of a portal and shoot them in the back like the true coward that I am. And it's fun that you and I have kind of both settled on that decidedly underhanded play style as the cornerstone of our game.
The thing about Splitgate, you realise just how fun game modes can be. It's been so long since you're like, oh, this is what fun PvP feels like.
I think, and look, I think
like
that
non-competitive, goofy ass fun.
Yeah, and it's the blessing and the curse of the way Destiny works, right? Is that like everything has its identity and everything's important to everyone, right? Like in terms of guns and loadouts and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah.
By the nature of it, everyone's taking it pretty seriously. And I agree. Like you get into something like Splitgate where you don't give a shit about how well you do. You're just in there having a crack and you play gun game. And I would give anything to have, and we've said it so many times, just have exotic gun game for Destiny. It would be glorious.
Yeah.
Glorious.
I mean, it's what we said last time with the PvP update is like, it's just going to be down to the modes, and just don't know how quick Destiny can get good modes out.
Yeah.
Because they always double down themselves. They'll put a lot of time into making a new mode, and so it sort of has to, I don't know, I just sort of want them to rip shit off and just see what works. Like, who cares? Just do gun games.
Just get a gun game. Get fucking zombies like Halo used to have again. Like just try see what people gravitate to and then invest in the shit that's sort of already partly proven. I mean, look, I think there's merit in that, but I don't necessarily think it's the Bungie ethos to be doing that.
No,
either,
it's not.
so
it's not.
I wouldn't hold your breath. But yeah, all right. Well, what we might do, we might jump straight into the 12 because we'll just finish our bloody yabbering session later and get stuck into talking about what's happened this week. All right, how about that? I'll play the sting. Look at that. It's 10 minutes.
You really put me off with the fucking green lumberjack shirt today.
Well, the red one's in the wash.
That's illegal.
I've got rotation issues, right? Like my fleet of flannels isn't quite enough to accommodate for me being at home all day, every day. So like now I'm going through them quicker. So I'm into the green, this is like my least favorite flannel that I own, and I have to wear it now on a broadcast medium because all my other ones are in the wash.
I hate it.
I don't like it either, to be honest.
Like when your dad shaves their beard and they like look like a different person.
Did you ever go through that as a child? Just as a quick.
Yeah, I cried.
My dad Pog had a mustache, like a massive sweeper of a mustache, Super Mario-esque mustache, until I was about 15, and then just decided out of nowhere to shave it off. And walked out of the bathroom with this like pasty white upper lip ghost mustache. And I can still remember my mum turning to him and going, "Peter, what have you done?" He never grew it back though. He stuck to his guns, so good on him.
Really?
Yeah, he never grew it back.
Never admitted he was wrong.
Nah, I mean I think it's probably a trait that he's passed down the genes. So never take a backward step. All right, let's jump into this and get it underway. Hey. All right, this week at Bungie, we take a pass on armor mods and exotics. As we get closer to launch, I can't help but feel that we should keep these introductions short and sweet, so that with that in mind, I'll keep this to a bulleted list, right? Have you played Destiny 2 this week? Here it is, epilogue. We can talk about it straight out of the gate. Perfect segue. Thank you, DMG.
Yep. Epilogue. So we have the final mission or the final event for season of the Splicer. In it, Lakshmi 2 goes full batshit crazy and is like, do you know what? I'm going to open a Vex portal and yeet the Fallen into the Vex portal to get rid of them out of the tower. Sounds like a great plan. Osiris helps out, opens Vex portal, Vex kill Lakshmi 2. She's killed off screen when you load into the activity. Oh, so by the way, spoilers. When you load into the activity, she's dead, and you can give her a bit of a teabag.
There's a dead body. Surely that was
dead
intentional.
Body.
Like, there's only one reason she's lying there with her face up to the heavens.
Yeah, true. They want you to teabag her.
Yeah.
And then you complete the mission. It's like a override mission essentially. And you get a cutscene with Saint 14, Zavala, Amanda, Holiday, Akora, Ray, and...
Well, Osiris is there, but he's just
Mithrax
standing on the rooftop awkwardly.
Yep, and Osiris overlooks it, doesn't help out, and then walks away.
I mean, Osiris, right? Like, bear in mind, everyone else... Well, I mean, Amanda Holiday's not a guardian, right? She's just a person.
No. Yeah.
And she's in there with Chaperone.
I mean, I think that's the reason why they put her in there.
Yeah, so that, like, he's got no excuse of going, like, I don't have a ghost anymore. Yeah. So Osiris is either a bit of a cat or something else is at play. Treachery is afoot.
Yeah, so I did a summary of everything sus that Osiris has said. And there's, like, so many things since Season of the Hunt. But it's also like, you know when you buy a blue car and then you see more blue cars?
Yeah. Once you see, you start looking for it.
Yeah, once you believe Osiris is sus and guilty, everything that comes out of his mouth sounds sus.
He's always been that kind of character though, right? Like he's pretty opaque in his motivations and pretty aloof in terms of like describing, or at least his interactions with what his agenda is and things like that. So he was always going to be very easy to paint this way.
The thing that I think's really interesting to focus on is a lot of this odd behavior starts when he loses Sagira. So it would be very easy for Savathun to slide on in there and impersonate Osiris, and then you could blame any oddities in behavior on grief.
The grief and the loss of literal immortality and all of that. So like all of the stuff that we spoke about last week or the week before with Shaura and the when Gaul arrived and all of that. So
there's one scene where Saint tries to like organize a date night with Osiris, and he's just like, "Is that all?" And Saint's like, says that he frowns in his helmet. Is that all? Yeah. And then he says, "I guess so," and then he just walks off. So like just totally just a very different,
very awkward person.
Very different character. And do you remember in the season of Splicer when we did Courier Blade transform and he says shit like, "I'll never underestimate you again," almost like a fucking threat?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
huh?
There's so much. There's
heaps.
Like,
There's heaps like
you need
that.
to have your head pretty aggressively buried in the sand to have not garnered that impression, even passively playing the game at this point, which I guess is probably by design.
So part of me is like, is this so overtly like obvious? Would that mean like, is it Bungie just being really, really obvious so everyone gets a picture and like all the clues have been there? Or is it so obvious it definitely couldn't be Savathun and this is like Osiris 2000, 4000 galaxy brain IQ? You know, he has to behave in a certain way to draw out Savathun. Maybe he knows she's in the city. Maybe he's doing this all for a reason.
He is,
and
like, this
and
is
Bungie
why
just did the
what
red
you're
herring.
doing right now is why people get killed in fucking Among Us, man.
True.
You know, oh, I can't be him. It's too obvious.
It's too obvious. Yeah, fucking vote red.
This is why me and you were both terrible at it.
Dude, people always vote me out on Among Us
You're
all
just a
the
sus,
time.
You're just a sus human, and you're very aggressive. So it makes either way, it's kind of a victory to get you out of the picture. So all told, you know, this is the end of this season's story arc for the most part. Where do you think it sits? You
It's
happy?
good.
Good.
It's
Thumbs
great.
up.
Yep.
I think
Definitely
definitely thumbs up.
Yep.
We're doing that thing where we both talk at exactly. I think that this season's story has been like par excellence, man. I think it's really as good as we're gonna get in terms of like the way it was delivered and all of that. I think the only thing that I might change, if in hindsight, would be like the fact that the story like week on week led up to a point and then it stopped for weeks, and then there was like one last mission to tip it over the edge weeks later. I think
Solstice lost a lot of momentum for it.
Yeah, I think in that context, maybe it would have been like better if it all just brought itself to the end of the seasonal story point, and then it's just kind of like in a holding pattern after that for the next season. I don't know. I mean, it's such a hard thing to juggle because you want the story to tie into the start of the next season too. So it's you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I think if more seasons are like this, I don't really mind it being dragged out, to be honest. You know,
I think a lot of it's got to do with the expectation.
It's hard to put you in the mindset though of like, let's just say a normal player, someone who doesn't show up to podcasts, someone who doesn't make YouTube content, someone who doesn't watch streams. Like, what is their experience like with the drip fed content? Because I know exactly how much Destiny I played, and because I can see it in my challenges, because I ticked off every challenge up to about week 6, and then I obviously, which is fine. Like, I got 6 weeks of gameplay, and then I wasn't as interested in doing override and all those other stuff, and I was just tuning in to each story mission. So, I wonder how long the average player lasts in this, and did they get the full story or only parts of it, or what?
I'd be super interested to understand that too. I think it's hard
because we're so skewed.
It's hard because there's people we can't really get in touch with either, right?
No.
Do you know anyone, like maybe your brother is the only person that I know that is completely, ironically, completely disconnected from everything except.
Yep.
Yeah. So
no Twitter, no YouTube, no Twitch. Doesn't watch any content. Doesn't watch any of my videos. Just probably just standard consumer, but still plays games hardcore.
Yeah, he's a frightening human in that context. He's cut from a different cloth to me and you. You get in this. It's funny, right? Because we were playing New World. You kind of like. You ride on his coattails a little bit because he's like aggressive. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing this, and this is how I get to this level, and this is what I'm doing. And you kind of go, oh, yay. You both do it together. It's it's one of those things I'm like, yeah, that's probably the way it's been for, 30 odd years at this point.
I still remember, this is so fun, sidetracked. I still remember it must have been early high school. And we both we both got our first PCs, right?
Yep.
And you get the demo discs and whatever, or like games from Bali. Only half of them would ever work.
Yeah.
And there was this game called Evil Islands, and it was fucking really good. It was like a top-down RPG. It was actually it was like an MMO without people. So you had to craft and you had to beat bosses. And like I remember being so proud. I had like full leather armor. And I was like, hell yeah, I killed all these fucking boars and I created this leather armor. Chris comes in, he goes, oh, look at me character. And he's like wearing, what was it? Amethyst crystal fucking level 2000. Like, huh? He's like, oh yeah, I found a glitch where I could just keep killing ogres. And so I farmed them and then bought them. I'm like,
game breaking dickhead. Since day one.
it's not how the game's meant to be played.
Exploit nasty person. Yeah.
Anyway, what are we talking about?
Just Destiny, mate. Just the usual. We're talking about epilogue, but I think we'd come to the end of it. So we've
I haven't
got
talked about Friendly Harpy.
Well, I reckon we do that. We'll blast through the 12 and then we'll talk about that because it's quite a. I don't know. You were right in. I watched your video the other day, and you were right in saying
you watched it all the way through.
I did because I wanted to see where it was heading, and I really like it. Whichever way it ends up being, sort of.
It's cool, isn't it?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when we talk about it. All right. So also in this 12, we've got to look at our new mods for next season. I can't remember what the symbols behind them are. Can you remember? Because there's like anti-barrier auto rifle, overload bow, and then the other ones, scout. Yeah, unstoppable, right?
Yeah,
right,
linear fusion, unstop, pulse unstop, and hand cannon, sidearm unstop.
So the overload being only bow is probably the biggest point of contention I've seen doing the rounds in the community.
I think they hinted at a sword being overload as well.
Isn't Lament doesn't Lament just break that shit anyway?
No, Lament does anti-barrier.
Yeah, right. Anyway.
Holy shit. Do I know more about Destiny than you?
Probably. I'd like to think so. We've finally come of age. No, I'm just, yeah. I honestly, I haven't read this up until now because I've had faith that like Watson, Teft, and Briar have made you do your homework.
Oh, dude, I've read this. This is the third time reading this, man. I can punch you through if you want.
Go. It's all you.
I can punch you through.
Content creator. Create the content.
Look, they've added about controllers. They've essentially got rid of the traction perk and they've given you a bunch of options so you can adjust your turn speed, your ADS sensitivity, and some other controller options. So it felt like it's not really fair for you to be slapping on fucking traction mods just so you can. I mean, that
mod, it was free anyway. It was zero cost, but it still takes up a spot. Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, I played pretty much exclusively on controller for the charity night that we did in Iron Banner the other week because it was one of the donation incentives.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, but at the same time, like this sort of stuff, looking at it now, it'll make a world of difference to people who main controller for sure. It's great. Yeah. So probably a little overdue, but unreal that it's happening.
I don't know if that's just like in prep for crossplay, I guess.
I think so.
But the console players won't be matched with PC unless you've got a PC player in your party anyway. So, but it's nice for it to be consistent, I guess. And it's funny that they haven't had that option yet, so that's good. Super regenerating exotics are basically just getting a big fucking slap. They'll all be capped essentially at only getting about 50% of your super.
Yep.
Pretty much goes for all of them. The main standouts is Geomags also had the sprint to top off removed, so you can't just run around to top it up because they felt like it was surprise too powerful in PvP.
Yeah, it was one of those things that it became like everywhere in fucking trials, right? Like that and the Kamehameha.
Well, you're guaranteed to get, if you have that and you have the max intellect, you're guaranteed to get your super before everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, and like
there's nothing you can do about it.
And people jump out and just delete a whole fucking team.
Yep.
Big problem. Good changes, I guess. I mean, like it sucks if people are using these in PvE to like it's part of your core build, but at the same time, I think It just needs to happen. They're super powerful. Like,
I think one of the ones that's probably going to hurt the most in this list, and let me know what you think, is Ursa Furiosa for GMs, right? Because don't people just do the fucking shield to just take heaps of damage and basically get their super back?
Yeah, but admittedly, yeah, so it's just tanking all of the shots and then throwing occasional shields at the end to get your entire super back to nearly instantly go again. But like, that's not the point of, like, that's not the intended way to play the content, is it? It's like someone designed the GMs to go, hey, look, if you wear this one exotic, you can just smash your way through it without really thinking about it, and it's super easy. So, you know, it's going to hurt.
Oh, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with it. I definitely agree with it, but I think people are going to have to use something else to get through the GMs maybe. So
I think it'll still, 50%. It'd be interesting to see how much of a nerf that is in actual practice.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be good because you could probably still make it very viable, but yeah, teammates are going to have to generate orbs to get you back up to 100, right? So
yeah. So, I mean, it's still something. It's just not. It's not going to be where it was. That's for sure.
Then they're retuning a bunch of stuff. Hunters,
Are you trying to say the name of this exotic?
Yeah, I'm getting Bandoila fucking flashbacks.
There is
Bombardiers,
no way.
Isn't it?
Yes, that's the word. Bombardiers.
Yeah. So this is going to change depending on your subclass. So the bomb's explosion will blind for arc, burn for solar, slow for stasis, and suppress for void, but suppression will not affect guardians and super. So
I kind of like that. I don't know. I mean, it kind of ties in with other cool stuff that's kind of been not super expounded on in that thing, like elemental capacitor and stuff like that. Like I like the change of what it does per class.
Yeah, I want to give it a shot. I would give it a shot for sure. Yep. I wonder what happens with when you have the stasis fragment to also slow on a dodge. I wonder what happens with that. They have slow. You have slow on the dodge, and then you have the bomb pops up, and then you get another slow.
You're just very slow, or you're making other people very slow. Bombardoilers. Sorry, we normally don't read chat this early on. That was just too good. All right, Graviton forfeit.
Mate, these are going to be absolutely top tier, I think, in PvE. They're going to increase bonus invisibility duration, and your melee regeneration is going to speed up based on the numbers of enemies around you, aka fucking throw a smoke bomb.
Get in the middle, regen.
Get in the middle, you have it instantly back, even if, and if you're running dodge and melee, I feel like this is probably just going to be infinite smoke bombs.
While you are invisible, your recovery is greatly increased. And your weapons reload more quickly.
Yep. It's
Fuck. That's super powerful. There you go. I mean, now it's, honestly, it's probably fair enough because hunters have always been kind of the dud class when it comes to running PvE content, right? Like it's, you've always had your Ursas for Titan and, Warlocks have...
Oh, you mean for teamwork? I mean, for solo survival. Yeah, for teamwork, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe this will help.
This only helps hunters.
Still pretty fucking selfish, isn't it? Oh, well.
I mean, this is going to be the top tree void invis on dodge. Do you have to use top tree for it? Why would you have to use top tree for it?
Because invis is on dodge for top tree.
Yeah, but you can still use smoke bombs.
I don't know.
Make you invisible.
Yeah, maybe.
I imagine this is going to be the Graviton is going to be your solo flawless stuff, and Omnioculus is going to be your team ones, because when you invis teammates, they get increased resistance with Omnioculus. So can actually save you.
How can you be worried about saying bombardiers and be fine with omnioculus?
Oh, I don't know, man, because I haven't.
What a brain. What a fucking unique brain. All right, Lucky Pants. So, they've added the intrinsic hand cannon holster mod, replace the previous functionality with the following. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or damage matching your subclass energy type, for a short time, each hit against a combatant from that hand cannon increases damage of the next shot. That's pretty. So that gives you an incentive to either use a kinetic or something of your matching subclass. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I thought it was really right at first. It's gonna be interesting to see how it actually plays out because you have to ready your fully loaded hand cannon.
I mean, if you're a compulsive reloader like I am, that's like it's pretty. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't know.
Yeah, so
it does sound powerful.
You would reload your hand cannon, put it away, deal some damage with your secondary, and then pull it back out.
Maybe. Read the rest of it. No, Hawkmoon won't be able to get a one-shot or raid boss using these legs. Other hand cannons will get a fun edge in combat, though. What is a hand cannon holster mod? A new kind of mod that reloads stowed weapons. There you go. So it reloads itself being stowed. Wonder what the time frame on that is.
All right, sorry, it's got the intrinsic hand cannon. All right, so it's got the intrinsic hand cannon holster mod. So it's going to reload itself, right? Okay, so you put it away for long enough, pull it out, it'll be fully loaded. Deals kinetic damage. Damage matching subclass.
And does an increased amount of damage.
Each hit against a combatant increases damage of the next shot. Okay, that looks pretty cool.
Very good. Right.
That's pretty cool.
Titan, I'll take over. Oh, holy shit, there's only one. No, there's two.
One's a nerf. One's a nerf.
Every time I fucking see like exotics come up, I just worry that they're going to nerf Junies. And I know that they probably need a nerf, but it just seems like every time it's just skipping the noose. Right? Like Precious Scars will now also create a burst of healing and bonus recovery around you when you kill an enemy with a weapon whose damage type matches your subclass. So we're really honing in on the subclass matching thing. So
dude, you're a Devour Warlock now.
That's pretty rad. I mean, to get that utility.
Honestly, the Titan was the hardest. The Titan was the hardest class to do fucking solo flawless because you didn't have shit to like just keep boosting your health back. If that works like a Devour Warlock, that's gonna be sick.
Icefall Mantle removed the slower class ability recharge scalar. Cool. All right,
cool.
You're a Warlock now, so you care about the next lot.
Bro, change trigger when you get a weapon kill.
Varieties, bro.
Varieties, bro. Wait, what does it say? Change to trigger when you get a weapon kill that matches your subclass energy type. Increased grenade damage bonus 20% per stack. I can't remember what you have to start off with, so I assume you're just getting kills and it's buffing your grenade damage, correct?
It certainly seems that way.
The Stag grants damage reduction.
The stage
grants damage reduction to allied guardians standing in your rifts. 25% against combatants, 15% against players. Okay. Promethean Spur. Additional functionality. While standing in a rift, solar weapons give your class ability energy. When your class ability is full, solar weapons consume the energy and spawn a combination healing and empowering rift. This shit's getting complicated, man. My smooth brain's having a fucking hard time.
You've been a big time streamer this morning for a long, long time, so and I've just
I think it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be like, it feels like you're gonna have to think a lot more about perks just not doing this one cool thing. It's like now the thing is you're gonna be standing in a rift using a solar whilst Log is teabagging behind you, Sassy is reading a magazine, and it's a Tuesday between 4 and 6 p.m. An
One hit
exotic will
kill.
work. One hit kill. And this is the third time I've read it too. Yeah. Right.
It's one of those things. Like you never really know how potent these things are until you get your hands on them. Like you can make assumptions, but there'll be one of these things that come this update will be like, wow, and everything else will be like, oh, okay. It's always the way it is. Sorry, mate. Go.
Scavengers are changing.
Oh,
ammo finder actually should have increased chances of getting your ammo now.
Yep.
With primary kills. And further increase with exotic primaries. Pretty pog. Multiple scav copies. Scavenger mods don't stack anymore.
Look.
Who cares?
It needed to happen. It
Why?
fucking
Because
needed to
PvP
happen.
stuff.
Yeah, just because of like people sitting there on fucking completely full shotgun ammo in a PvP game mode.
Right.
It's it was out of control.
Yeah. And then the holster things, so the new holster mod, this is going to be interesting, man, because do you remember when Bungie's like, they got rid of like auto loading on like so people like, we want like downtime to be more, and then they just go add a mod.
Add a mod that will allow you to swap weapons and kick it over.
So this new type of leg armor will gradually reload stowed weapons of the matching type over time. Multiple copies of holster mods of the same type will increase the rate ammo is reloaded. So you get
that's fair enough.
A holster, auto rifle holster, double stack it. Your auto rifle will slowly reload ammo over time, when stowed. The following weapon types will have holster mods: auto fusion grenade, only power though. Hand cannon, linear fusion, machine gun, pulse, scout, shotgun, sidearm, submachine gun, sniper rifle, and trace rifle. Ariana's Vow will not be included. Rockets, breech-loaded grenades, and bows will not have mods for it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense given that they're one-shot capacity mags.
Right?
Yeah. So you could just swap on.
Here's the
swap
thing,
off
man. If this is good, it means you don't need like auto-loading on fucking... Then again... What would you want auto-loading on out of that? Probably shotguns and snipers, man. Right?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal because you can
maybe linear
be
fusions, depending how that
running
buff goes.
running around, engaging with your primary weapon, and then switching to your secondary weapon, or switching off your secondary weapon, knowing that it'll be reloaded. I think it's good. It's good. I like it.
It's good, but
it encourages weapon juggling, which is something that some people definitely need encouragement to do. So
yeah, you're gonna like be able to have really decent. Let's say you want to get Deepstone Crypt, maybe you don't need the fucking reconstruction anymore on your sniper.
Yeah. I mean, so now, that'll probably change the god roll for that because you'll be able to look for something
else there.
Look for something else that's. I'd have to look at the perk pool.
Yeah, the pill.
Look at the pill. And then the great Warmind nerf. Warmind cell.
Warmind's just got fucking slaps, which is fine. Like they're
so
explosion
overpowered anyway.
Yeah, they were.
Did you always feel kind of like the visual never really matched the amount because they do so much damage, but it's kind of like always this like oof.
everything in the room fucking dies,
and everything in the world is dead, just from this little explosion over the back. It should have been like fuck.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Good, get him out. I wouldn't mind. Warmind cells need to be nerfed. But everything else is still fucking trash. Do you know, like, they need, I just feel like, not trash. You know, you got protected
that's
light.
why Warmind cells are so, like, yeah, but in an offensive capacity, right? Like, I mean, high energy fires there, I suppose, and things like that. But Warmind cells have been very, very powerful for a very, very long time. Like, this was bound to happen at some point.
Yeah. I would like mods to take the Warmind cell approach and like, I know you said they're not very visual, but in regards to every other mod, you can actually see their impact a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, you kill something and a little ball pops out. Whereas everything else, you're just basically looking at your activity feed, waiting for a fucking charge with light builds to come up.
What buffs have I got in the corner? Okay, cool. Now I can go. Yeah.
Now I can go. So anyway, it doesn't matter. They got slammed. Just everything. Their reach. They're gonna have less reach and they'll do less damage. The Sally suppression will blind them for less time. That's basically it.
They've all been hit with the global worseness buff.
Yeah.
Everything they do is now worse.
Yeah.
Elemental wells.
Elemental wells. They're gonna.
What's going on here? 2 elemental well mods are getting improvements in order to make them a more competitive choice compared with other combat style mods. I've always felt the elemental wells were a little bit underwhelming. Get it?
I'll tell you what. There's literally one decent one, which is after you use, it's on Void, after you use your class ability, getting a kill with a Void weapon, a final blow with Void will spawn an elemental well. And it's super reliable because then you could get charged with light. And that's the only reason. Yep. And then
there's not much, is there? Like, I can't think of a single time that I've actually spec'd into it deliberately. They're kind of like the mods that I'm like, I've got one slot left over. I'll just put one in and not really concentrate on what they even do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Elemental armaments.
This one gives you wells based on, it's a chance to get one based on killing enemies. So obviously they're bumping that up.
And font of base duration has been increased to 10 seconds and increased the damage bonus from 10% to 25%.
I don't even know what it does normally.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was 10%, plus 10%. Now it's plus 25%. So I assume it's
2.5 times. Pretty pog.
Oof. Well, it's not 2.5 times. It's 1.25 times. Let's not just go out here and tell people that their shit's going to be doing fucking more than double damage just off one fucking proc of a buff. Fucking hell. This is why we're never allowed to develop anything ever.
Mate.
Go and jump 3 times in a circle and then you get double fucking energy. You kill everything in the world. All right, let's jump in and have a squiz at the new Iron Banner gear. All right, here we go. Oh, it's nearly lined up. So what do we got there? We've got that looks like a pulse rifle, is it?
Pulsey and a sidearm.
Forge's Pledge pulse rifle and the Peace Bond sidearm. Not really using either weapon type at the moment, but I guess
the sidearm looks cool.
It does. Cool. It actually really does. Little leather special here. I've always thought some of the Iron Banner weapons were the coolest looking, but they just, they really need to get a bit more competitive in terms of the perk pools. But the one thing that people have been asking for 7,000 years, updated Iron Banner armor. It's very pretty too. Look at this. Jesus Christ, the Hunter at the front. I don't know. Has this guy got misaligned horns over here, the Titan? Not sure about
people are like raging about this armor. What's wrong with people?
What, they're angry with it?
Yeah.
Well, some people are just sooks. Some people just want to have a whinge. I actually reckon that the Warlock and the Hunter are the coolest out of this. Definitely. Yeah. So I like the little crown of thorns or whatever you want to call it on the Hunter, and I like what's with the bells. What
the barnacles?
I don't think they're barnacles. I think they're actual bells, man. Like they look like cowbells or some shit. Is that so they don't?
No, I think they're barnacles.
That's like what you put on your cat so they don't go and eat native wildlife.
Yeah, but it's a sea theme. How does a fucking cat bell fit into sea themes log?
Well, I'm not saying it's actually a cat bell. I don't think there's a problem with our fucking guardians going out there and eating the native wildlife of the tower or wherever the fuck. But yeah, I don't know. Is it sea themed? Is it? I wouldn't have picked that up. I wouldn't have got that. But cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it either way.
And they're gonna add a thing next season, Iron Lord's Pride, which is an intrinsic perk on the Iron Banner sets. Basically, Increases chance of enhancement prisms dropping the end of Iron Banner. They stack.
Okay.
So
that's pretty.
Put them on.
Pretty.
Put them on,
poggers,
and you get
isn't it?
enhancement prisms. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty
Much
poggers.
pog.
Much super saturation of pog right there.
Wait, did we blast through there? That's it.
We have.
We
So this is what happens when you run through it
shit.
twice before. We smash the shit out of it, and we actually inform people, and I don't have to like understand everything. It's good. There's prime rewards there as well. If you really want to worship at the Church of Bezos, go and check it out and get on it. Get yourself some stuff that you probably already got. Yay! All right, there's not much else to it. A couple of good movies of the week. Go and check them out. But I think it's time that we dove in to the lore of the Friendly Harpy, Maddie. What do you reckon?
I reckon since you bloody watched me video, you tell me about it.
I will give
this
you.
Is a law. This is a surprise
I'm
law
not in
quiz.
the mood for a fucking quiz. If I knew that I would have studied. Right, like I will chip in. I'll promise. I'll help. I'll do my best.
I can imagine, like surprise quiz, like child log at school. Teacher's like, all right, surprise quiz, kids. And the log's like, miss, I'm not in the mood. Log, you have to do it. I'm not in the mood, mate. I'm not doing it.
I wasn't that bad. I'd just do it. But surprise quizzes, like they play to my strengths big time because you can't study anyway. For it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, perfect.
So
yeah, right.
That was my time to thrive, right? Like guess what? Wing it. Yes.
Okay, so you know what? The funny thing is, I'm taking all credit for this, but I was 100% told this theory by chat, and it was perfect. That's the thing about when you all of a sudden build an audience. Little minions go out and gather information for you, and they come back, and you have a stream, and everyone's like, "Have you heard this theory?" And it's like a hive mind of like lore theories.
Mylan sparrows just being sent out into the lore universe. You're basically Varys. There you go.
So everyone's like, go! You got to go have a look at this Friendly Harpy, and this is Harpy just chilling out. In the epilogue mission in one of the buildings, or on top of one of the buildings, and they're like, it's beeping Morse code, and the Morse code translates to the word assistant. Yep. And then around the Harpy is a bunch of like research equipment, which is very similar to Ashamir's research equipment.
Yeah, so and the then stuff there that he had set up out there on IO in the
the little machine that he used to
tippy
tapped into. The little terminal he was at. Yep. And there's also a lore card. Oh, crap. I can't remember which card it was from. There's a lore card that has the predictions of potential futures that Lakshmi saw. And two of them say that Ashamir speaks. They say, Vex portal opens, blah, future war codes, a whole bunch of stuff. And Ashamir speaks, and would be very odd for, like, why Asher? Like, he's got no relevance to this season whatsoever. So it's odd for him to be in, lore card, because Sloane's not been brought up anytime soon.
Oh, well, I mean, Sloane's in the beginning of the Shayura's Wrath stuff is referenced anyway.
Oh, true, actually. Oh, look at you. Remember? Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, good one.
Oh, who's been forgotten about then?
Yeah.
Anna Bray. Oof. Nah, she was in the story. That's fine.
So that's probably that's like the basics of the Easter egg is the Harpy is some way Ashamir, because Asher would call us his assistant, and it's beep booping assistant, and the equipment's very similar, and he's mentioned in I think Deeds has got the right card, stochastic variable. So there you go. I think it gets more complicated when you start to think about, does this mean he's alive? Does this mean he's talking through it? Does this mean he's the Harpy? What does it mean, Basil?
I think the implication of it is kind of scarier in a way than if that was the case.
What do you mean?
Well,
implication of him talking through it.
What's the name of the captain on Nessus? That's kind of like the assumed
Jacobson.
Yeah, Captain Jacobson, right? But you find him dead. He's 100% dead. He's half under a rock, a skeleton. He's dead.
Yeah.
Brown bread.
Yeah.
I think the implication is more that somehow the Vex have assumed all of his memories or something, and there is one particular maybe that was the harpy that somehow consumed Ashamir's consciousness, and because of that has adopted this kind of like difference in demeanor towards us or humans or whatever.
Yeah, so that's like one of the theories I had proposed was we could look at Captain Jacobson's story to try to understand how we can get a friendly harpy, because we see a friendly harpy in D2 during a captain by captain missions, and it definitely seems like the Vex absorbed some of his memories to some extent, and that's why this harpy was friendly to us, because we sort of find Captain Jacobson's body and this harpy's following us around. It has memories from him, and Captain Jacobson's last diary entry was like, the Vex are coming to experiment on me. And so we sort of try to apply that to Ash's story. So you look back on Ashamir's story, and he went into the Pyramidion and into the Radiolarian Lake when the pyramid ships came. And so you start thinking about what are the possibilities from there. The cool thing was, in that original D2 mission, we actually talked about sending all this information to Ashamir.
Yeah, there's a big tie in there.
About the friendly harpy. So he would have had knowledge that there's this friendly harpy with Captain Jacobson's memory. And if you read Ash's very last entry, he says that he never got to say thank you to us and how good of an assistant we were. And so one of the things that I suggested is maybe this is Ash's goodbye. He had all that knowledge about the friendly harpies. He went into the Radiolarian Lake. He was going to be consumed by the Vex. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to somehow, doing Ashamir things, place a final note to my guardian. And
I like that.
It's going to read assistant.
I really like, it's sad, but at the same time, it's a pretty epic little, admittedly, it made me feel bad because I didn't like Asher all that much when he was in the game. I'm like, what's this asshole always yelling at me and like whatever? But once with the hindsight of sort of like the way, because obviously there's that lore card where he's talking about how he, would like to say thank you and tell us how like satisfactory we were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just try that on next time someone cooks you a meal. That was satisfactory. See how far it gets you. But
yeah. I think this was his plan, because there's like this little weird sentence he says where he's like, I wish I could send a letter, but if I did that, it would defeat the point and I'll never get back to the assistant. So it's like he has a plan to get into the Vex system somehow. I mean, that's why we were always helping him. And so the other theory is it's not just a memory, but he was successful and he's beep booping through the system to say, yo,
his intention has been carried through the
I'm here. I made it. Yeah, I made it, man.
I mean,
and
if there was ever a character they were going to do that with, it's him, right? Because he's, he'd sort of already been, had the Vex arm, and he'd not been revived into, since that happened to him, and his ghost had now had, hadn't it changed? It had a red eye or whatever it was.
It had a red eye. Yep. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's either him, maybe it's his ghost, maybe it's just, it's his final way of getting a message out. I don't necessarily think we're going to have Ashamir beep booping around as a fucking friendly harpy for the next however long.
Nah, I reckon, imagine this, right? We go into Witch Queen.
Yep.
We rock up the battlefield. On our left, Keitel with the Cabal troops. On our right, Mithrax with the Elixni troops. And then portals in, fucking Ashamir Gate Lord comes in with a fucking army of Vex ready to kick some butt.
That sounds pretty fucking epic. Or like, I am for it. It just made me think of the, like the Infinity War Part 2 scene where everyone just
start Avengers music.
It looks like a fucking split gate nightmare with a million people walking through portals. Just but I'm for it, so I like that. I don't know. Do I think I don't know. You could sell it to me. If that was a product, I'd be buying it. I'm going to assure you of that.
Imagine that, dude. Imagine that. Now, the other thing that I found this morning, I think this has to be coincidence, but it's a super nice coincidence. And I found this last night when I was making an Osiris video, and no shit. And I had already written the script. It was done. I had read it multiple times. I had edited it. I had recorded it. And only when I listened back to it, I just went, what the fuck? I just freaked out like an absolute lore nerd. Because guess who's called the assistant?
Osiris?
Osiris.
Fuck, so maybe he's trying to warn us.
Yes, exactly.
Oh. Fuck.
The Friendly Harpy may have witnessed what happened. And he's giving us a warning.
And we're just so narcissistic, we just thought he just wanted to say hi from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
Yes, it's me. I'm the assistant. Hello.
So there's okay, this is where this came from, right? So you have to take the assumption that when Osiris lost Sagira, Savathun stepped in.
Yeah.
And has been impersonating Osiris since then.
So I think that's all. For the most part, people's perceptions. She's either overpowered Osiris or is straightforward.
Yeah.
Impersonating him, and he's somewhere else entirely.
And I hadn't really seen people talk. This was in the video today. I haven't really seen people talk too much about this bit. In what, let's call it a Savathun Osiris does. It's so fucking odd. Osiris gives a letter to Akura Ray and says, it's from Sagira. I can't bring myself to read it. And it's basically a death note from Sagira begging Akura Ray to help Osiris and don't let him be by himself. Akura Ray reads the letter and then goes to Zavala and says, I think you should make Osiris your assistant. We need to help him. Zavala says, you're not asking me to make Osiris my assistant, are you? And she goes,
it's being thrown around a lot.
And then she goes, no, I think he'd prefer the word advisor. And then it changes to advisor throughout. So it only stays like assistant. It's the very thing. What I'm suggesting is that Savathun, right? So Savathun planted this message because knew that Akura Ray would be like, we have to help him and bring Osiris into the fold. Because he's like, and then she ends up being the assistant to Zavala, who then brings in fucking Crow, who no one knows about, and potentially, I think, probably tried to assist with assassinations of Zavala from the inside. With the whole science, which were never explained who ordered them.
Oh, there's a lot here, man. Isn't there? Like when you start chipping away at the edges, there's a lot, there's threads.
Yeah.
So yeah, right.
So that's another like explanation for Friendly Harpy.
Is there much? And this is just a question completely without notice, but is there much history of sort of like crossover history with Ashimir and Osiris, given that they're both kind of like the Vex guys in that context? Like Osiris is off in the Vex network for thousands of years doing whatever the fuck. And Ashimir is, very much the Vex guy to the point that he's got a Vex arm. He's very into the research. Is there any crossover there, or is it sort of like...
I can't remember, to be honest. I can't remember. Not that I know of that much, so... Not too sure, but regardless, we're gonna get a cracker of a resolution when it comes to Osiris. Like I said, he's either done like 5D chess and is intentionally giving everyone a cold shoulder and disappearing. Like, you know, did he set Lakshmi up? Because he said, I'll take care of Lakshmi. And Lakshmi ended up fucking dead.
Almost certainly. I think so. I think like that's what I took from that. And like when you consider that all of this sort of stuff has been alluding to the fact that she's been, deluded to some extent by Savathun, I think that like that is just absolutely the logical conclusion to, it's
used her, then killed a minion.
Yeah.
Like no longer useful.
And to have deniability. Like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it wasn't us that did it. It was, that crazy woman who's now dead.
The only thing that happened with me is I got to the point where it's like, this is so fucking obvious. I actually read a YouTube comment. It was like, Savathun is as subtle as a brick in the face, and it was in regards to when she says when Osiris says I'll never underestimate you again. They're like, Savathun is about as subtle as a brick in the fucking face.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, where do you draw the line in terms of like if they make stuff too subtle? The people we were talking about earlier, the Chris's of the world, like would have no hope of like understanding this. So like, do you really want your story to be that deep that you need to be checking out lore videos and putting all this stuff together outside of the game, or do you want it to?
I think, yeah, exactly. So like, is that why they put Osiris in the cutscene? Like, just make it super obvious that.
Oh, I think that's very much the case. I think that's
yeah.
That was so deliberate. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I shit myself when Ikora dropped that Nova bomb and everyone was so close to it. I'm like, holy fuck! Like,
blue on blue.
Like it's fucking. Like, Jesus, I don't know how she didn't kill herself, let alone everyone else. So
mate, one of the Fallens looked down, they've got 3 babies, they just only got 2 and like, oh my God. just a purple mist.
Yeah, oh, whoops.
Baby.
That cutscene though was epic. And I think that like Saint, it was always building towards Saint being he was the demon to the Elixir for so long, and now it comes full circle, and he's the guy that's get behind me, I'll protect you kind of thing. It's beautiful in that sense.
It definitely the feeling of it was great. It was a little bit like janky in regards to like cinematics.
Yeah,
but
it was in game engine. It wasn't like a pre-rendered cutscene. So
yeah, but it was a whole like, there wasn't that many enemies in front of them. They could have like saying, why don't you just drop a bubble, you dumb, like
He's waiting for his super to recharge. Like, come on.
Yeah,
what is Zavala? He'd only just turned up. He hadn't got it yet. He's just putting some shots in with a primary, trying to get some ammo. I don't know.
Waiting for ammo finally.
Where the fuck was Saladin? Like, is it? That's what I want to know. There's a lot of people that you could like. It's a bit sus that they weren't there.
Yeah. Forgot to rally.
It didn't rally. All right.
So, dude. Oh, actually, you know what? Have you seen what's happened with the boxes people receiving?
Yeah, getting the little music boxes with
the music boxes.
Song.
Yup.
Yeah, that's fucking. I saw I think I'm trying to think who else I've seen with the little videos of it, but man, how cool. They never miss with this shit. When they go all out on like a little a tie-in, a physical real world tie-in, I think it's they rarely ever miss in terms of getting hyped up. I want one. Scour the internet over coming months.
That's cool.
All right, look, what we'll do, we'll open up the chat. If there's anything our beautiful audience want to talk about, fire away. But I don't know. I'm like, I'll say this, right? Like, I never got disinterested in like this season's story. It was just more that it went on sort of pause for a while, and I've manage to go away and just do other stuff and really freshen up again by playing other games for a while. I can't wait for next season. I feel like Season of Arrivals last year was great. Like it was I threw so much fucking time into that, and it was, you know, all in a big build up. I think we're in for that again. I really do feel like, and we know nothing about it, right? Like when you consider the lead into next season, we are flying blind, and I love it. I've always thought Destiny was at its best when we can do this. So I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to sink my teeth back in.
What is it, like a couple weeks, week and a half?
Yeah, I think so. And we've got the reveal. We've got the big reveal on the 22nd, I believe. So we'll know a hell of a lot more. Not this week, but next. Not this next episode coming, but the one after. We're going to have a mountain to talk through. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think I'll work on a story summary video. This might be my next thing. Just do a big really recap of the season.
I think that'd be really good. I think
I really wish every week, I really wish I just captured the audio, all the pivotal shit, and put it into an Adobe Premiere Pro fucking file in order.
There's always next week, Matty, or next season. There's always next season. Get your chat to nag you into doing it.
Yeah, next season, like I gotta just you record the intro dialogue and you just bang it all in a video. Someone can sit down and watch it. Like, okay, I'm all caught up. Thank you.
Beautiful. The other thing that came out through the week, and if you are one of the glorious people who messaged me about it and showed me support with it, is the community coordinator that Bungie are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's there's so many good people in this community doing incredible shit that I'm sure they'll find the perfect person. I'm probably going to throw my hat in the ring, but I live on a different continent, so I'm not going to hold my breath. But hey, we'll see what happens.
Got to be in to win it.
Well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm going to lose too much sleep over it, but might as well. That, and whenever I wake up and I've got lots of messages, like I kind of have this trepidation of like someone's either done something horrible that everyone needs to vent at me about, or something good's happened and I need to get on it. And I always like have this moment of looking at my phone going, oh fuck. But that was a good one. So thank you.
You're great at that role. I don't know how you do it. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know how you're a little social butterfly. You just know everyone, know everything, know who's connected. I'm just like, hello? Are you part of the DDU podcast? No? Do I know you?
I think we're very, I don't know. I mean, but I like, it's weird because in most of my life, like I'm not necessarily like that. I'm pretty focused, but I don't know. I just pay attention, I guess. You're driven in a different way. You're worried about, what you need to get done. And I respect that. That's why I do nothing other than stream. It's because I'm worried about everyone else's shit, which I get a lot out of it. So I'm happy with it. So that's fine.
True.
That's why I've got a podcast, because I'm worried about your shit.
Do you know what? I was going to fucking rag you about this. How the fuck do you cunts do any fucking work? Because that group message that we have is just constantly dinging. I woke up at 5 a.m. to fucking Sassy and Jugs having a conversation there. Like, motherfuckers. I literally mute it every hour. I'm like, okay, get some work done, I'll mute it.
I mean, that is the other side of how I know that, like you're talking about, you've got law sparrows, right? That's how I always know what's going on, because there's groups of people that will, if someone needs a hand or whatever, I'll gladly help. So that works. But yeah, that I often mute our friends group to get things done. It can be pretty wild. It's like you pop in for like a cameo. You're like cameo appearances once a week. Normally yelling about needing help to get something done. I need someone to help me do this. Yeah, fucking, it's me. Hollywood Games. Just and everyone's like,
by the way, why everyone's here? Felicia, Adrian, Log, you gonna play some Back for Blood? Danny's out the whole weekend. Play some Back for Blood tonight?
Yeah, I'll play. I'll play.
Please?
Yeah.
I gotta get Anthony, and Anthony might play.
Or is this because you need it for content? Is that?
I do need it for content. Yeah.
Fuck you.
I need it for footage.
Sailing.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I miss hanging out with Adrian. Adrian doesn't like sailing, so I haven't spoken to him in weeks, and I feel bad about it. That's sad.
Well, I mean, it's too bad, mate. I might not even have. I shouldn't have offered. I might not even have a spot. Let me check my DM.
You've been cut out. It's fine.
You might be cut.
And look, if you ever had any doubt that Matt and I, for the most part, don't even talk outside of doing this podcast. I mean, we do, but not very much. Very busy people. This is us just talking shit about our friends.
Yeah.
Oh, you got Fez, that's for sure.
Right.
Anyway,
have we talked ourselves to a standstill?
I think we may have. My dear dude.
I almost dislocated my shoulder then, just sitting up in my chair.
I thought you were doing well with that. I thought you were.
Yeah, I was. Maybe I need to go outside. I took a week off. I might need to do some push-ups or something.
Oh yeah, I started my week in lockdown. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do some exercise every day. I can't go running around the streets. I'm gonna get on the treadmill every day. Did it Monday.
Oh. Did it Monday.
It's so dangerous being at home because I'm eating fucking Tim Tams at 11 a.m. out of boredom. And Rach is like the best cook in the fucking universe, and there's always leftovers, so I'm gonna be fat. It's fine. I accept it. This is how I go out.
Yeah.
I choose it. All right, Maddie, I've got one last job that you need to complete before we can wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
Where, pray tell, will the law find people this week?
Right. You get a message. The Botsar district is in trouble. You rush down there. You see a Vex portal open. Vex are pouring bloody through. The Elixir cowering. You're like, get in there. You get in there. You start firing, shooting your laser beams, your Kamehamehas, your Nova bombs, whatever, your class item, your class abilities. And then you spot a glint, a shimmer, something metallic on one of the roofs. You go, what the fuck is that? You take a bit off the action. You go up there. You're ready to start blasting. And something tells you not to. And you see, it's a harpy. Just bobbing along. You try to block out the noise of combat fire in the background. And you try to listen in. It's trying to send a message. Beep, boop, beep. Beep, boop, beep, boop. You get a notepad and you start writing down the letters L. The law has found you. What does it mean? That's it. Oh, I thought it was going to be a better ending than that.
If you had done the prep and actually looked up what the Morse code for law was, that would have been probably the greatest moment of this podcast's career. But you've fallen short at the last stump, and it was underwhelming. So good job.
It was.
All right, stand by for a raid. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye. Oh,
Bye.
Bye.